I'm Lieutenant Colonel Simon Watson, and I'm the commanding officer of the Cayman Islands Regiment.
Wait, sharper yet! Sharper yet! Get back!
The regiment has been established to provide disaster relief and security in the Cayman Islands and also across the wider Caribbean. Cayman has always been very independent and very able to sort of stand on its own 2 feet, and having something like the regiment in Cayman is incredibly important. This year alone, we've seen an earthquake, we've seen a major fire, we've seen a pandemic. All of these things that the regiment can help in times of need. So we had over 300 applicants for the positions, and we took 51 into training, and I'm very pleased to say that we had 51 come out of training. So we managed to get everybody through, and the pass mark is high, so everybody passed, which is fantastic. It was obviously, you know, it's a very arduous course. It was 2 weeks training every single day, and very long hours. So 6:30 in the morning to sort of 5:30 in the evening. So really full days for all of the recruits.
So, got off to a start at quite a frantic pace. You know, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do now. But the guys took to the training pretty well. And by the sort of second or third day, we was fully into it. Yeah, some of them had a little bit of experience before, but it's the same, you know, when you teaching recruits all over the world, there's always going to be a mix of experience. There'll be some people that have seen or heard something to do with it before, and some people that are completely fresh to it. So it's part of our job to adapt to that and make sure that everyone's at the same level once we leave.
I think the fact that the training is very new to everybody made the whole thing, you know, relatively difficult. Most of the recruits had no military experience. Some would have had some cadet experience from the Cayman Islands Cadet Corps, but the majority would have had no military experience. So this would have all been incredibly new to them. Everything from the first aid aspects to the drill. That's the marching up and down. Everything would have been brand new to them.
Right. Dress! Better. Remember, it needs to be together.
So here, definitely it was the breadth of characters that we had. You know, some people that were unemployed, hadn't worked in months, and then other people that were on absolutely phenomenal salaries, high-class business people, and just, again, adapting it so we're not treating them like children. Micromanaging is a big part of the army, and we try and avoid that as a training team. So yeah, the difference between each and every recruit that we had.
So I was a troop commander of Alpha Troop, so all the recruits were divided into 2 troops. So myself and 4 other members of staff ran Alpha Troop. I was also running the humanitarian assistance and disaster relief training. So myself and one of the assault pioneers on the team ran a programme covering previous examples the military have been involved in, different skill sets they'll need to learn if the Cayman Island Regiment are involved in assisting after any kind of natural disaster in future. I think any of the practical sides, even fairly arduous bits like sandbagging, they're really putting all their effort to. We had some search and rescue serials on the exercise, which were pretty challenging considering they only just started training, but I think they really enjoyed them towards the end. I think it has its own capability, so if there was a natural disaster like Hurricane Ivan in future, there's now the resources and the team on the island itself to respond quickly rather than waiting for assistance from other islands or even from Britain. And it's a high readiness force, so if there's a weather system coming in, you can have the Cayman Island Regiment there ready to go to help out other emergency services. I think it's always difficult at the start, just basic militarisation, being used to being in the right place at the right time with the right kit. I think some of the physical training was different to what a lot of them had done before. We had quite a lot of candidates who did a lot of work in the gym, etc., but it was going to take a bit of time to get used to group runs, jogging, carrying weight, etc. Yeah, especially as at the moment they don't have any night vision capability, so it's all under torchlight, and everything when it's dark is a bit harder. They had a navigation serial out in some fairly tough terrain, just using head torches, which they did well at, but again, something for them to get used to.
So I joined the regiment as a stepping stone because I want to be in the Royal Infantry in the Army. So I just tried to, since Cayman Islands is offering a position where you can have that type of setting, so I just decided that I could just join the regiment and see if anything could go well, yeah. The experience is very challenging, but it's adventurous and it's exciting. And you learn different skills that I did not know before. I came in and I learned it. Like certain stuff I did not know, like medical, I did not know anything about like anything like that, but now I understand how to apply a tourniquet, how to apply a Celox gauze and a compression bandage. Why? Because there's various skills, attributes that you can gain from joining the regiment. If you feel that you're not so well physically, here it will test you and it will build up your morale, your mental courage, and it will instill different disciplines like courage, discipline, intellectual teamwork, and those types of stuff.
Overall, yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty fast-paced, but they all, because they wanted to be there, were all taking the information on board relatively well. They weren't really struggling with the pace. It was pretty good, to be fair. So we had 51 recruits, and there was 6 people applied for every position. So roughly about 300 odd people applied, and it got down to 51. There's only 6 females, so there's 1 per section, 3 per troop. Yeah, just as well as the lads. They were the top 6 females that clearly applied and showed that throughout the training.
Bravo 1 Charlie, E-Bikes reporting, Leslie reporting. Yeah. Perimeter has been checked and secure.
It's really great. A lot of the training that we did over the last 2 weeks were it's more of a refresher, because some of that we did do in the cadet corps, but it took it up a notch in the military. So it taught us from the military perspective. So although I had the foundation from cadet, this really took it up a step.
And I just thought when the regiment started up, I said, you know what, I got too much skill set to be sitting down when I can help and do my part to make the Cayman Islands ready for any disaster. So that's why I decided to join up.
But for me, it's not really a military setting that I was looking for. It was just an exciting way to give back to the community.
1, 2, 3, left.
Now they are learning how to sandbag important areas to prevent it from flooding, damage. So a platoon's doing that, and then a platoon are also learning how to patrol areas so they've been damaged and they can patrol around, make sure it's safe. Discipline comes for so many things. If you have discipline, you've got loyalty, because you're disciplined in loyalty. You've got command, so people will listen to things. And then you've also got structure. With discipline, you can structure people and make them into leaders as well.
I think they should be pretty proud, especially as it's the first regiment of this kind on the Cayman Islands. They've seen how the Bermuda Regiment has been able to help out in disasters in the region recently, and there's a clear focus for what the regiment is intending to do.
I don't think we had one discipline issue for the entire course. They're all very happy to be here, and they should be very proud to be part of the Cayman Islands Regiment.
I think if you want to give back to your community, I think if you are enthusiastic, I think if you have a desire to serve, and I think if you are of the character that doesn't give up, then I think the regiment is perfect for you. I think the final exercise where they deployed into the field and tested their skills was very enjoyable. I mean, that was arduous. That was just over 24 hours in the field. For the majority of them, very little sleep. So it really got an opportunity to test them, but I think they really enjoyed that. And actually, a lot of them enjoyed the drill. That's the marching part of that. So I think we have a lot more obviously activities to come, but they certainly enjoyed those 2 activities during the training.
1, 2, 3. There we go. Excellent. You 2 can go back. Are we good here? You guys taking over now? Yes. Yeah, okay. Let's go. Double time. Let's go.
Yeah, massively. Yeah. The training, a lot of them had done. So I know there was a mixed bag of experience, but what we were teaching, a majority of them had never seen or even heard of before, especially when it comes to the disaster relief stuff, and they picked it up really quick. And in that exercise at the end, showed that they could adapt quickly to any situation. The sections gelled pretty well. I know from the first couple of days, a lot of them had their own WhatsApp groups. They were keeping in touch in and out of work, making sure each other were at the right place at the right time. They weren't just relying on individuals. They worked hard. They were pretty solid. Yeah, they were pretty everywhere at the start, but yeah, they pulled it together, pulled out the bag at the end. Yeah, for the island they're pretty important. Yeah, it's having someone there to rely on in a time of need. You've got that regiment there now that will step up in any situation.
Well, personally, I've really enjoyed it. It's been like a massively enthusiastic group to work with. And as has been mentioned, there's so many skill sets within that group. People who've been in the police, the military before, civil servants, people who've worked in hazard management. It's got a lot more to offer than your standard group of 51 recruits. So it'll be quite interesting going forward to look at which areas the regiment can specialise in.
Probably how quick they picked up the drill. It takes a long time for recruits back in the UK. It was a great job from Lance Sergeant Truman and a couple of us that assisted. But yeah, they took to that like ducks to water. They were pretty quick. They looked pretty sharp on the final day when they passed out, yeah.
This is indeed a significant moment for our islands, and I am pleased to see so many here today to mark this auspicious occasion. What is even more significant and laudable is that this event is able to take place at all in 2020. It is an amazing feat that the regiment has been established and reached this point in the very trying environment of a global pandemic. I feel confident in saying that no other country in history has ever established a regiment so quickly during a global pandemic.
Your Excellency, I thank you and your office, along with the UK government, for recognizing the benefit to us in Cayman and those beyond our shores of our very own Cayman Islands Regiment. As I look at this group of fine men and women, I see promise of a great future